Hi, I'm Gene Cavassis. A while back I was talking about wanting to standardize all of my cordless tools because, well, for one thing I had multiple brands, multiple tools, multiple chargers, and multiple batteries. So I really wanted to get down to one tool. Now I looked at several different brands from Milwaukee, DeWalt, Bosch. You know, there's a lot of great tools out there. And then I also took a look at the Bauer brand that is sold exclusively by Harbor Freight. Now, I really started looking at that because one, they sell a lot of different type tools, and two, which is really important for me, the price. Their price was easily half as much as Milwaukee, DeWalt, and a lot of these other tools. I'm not cheap. I just really like good value.
No, Dad, you're cheap.
I'm not cheap.
Dad, you're cheap.
I'm not cheap. I like good value.
You drive a Jeep from 1994.
That's vintage.
It's old, Dad.
Yeah, it's vintage. It's like antique.
Like you.
So I thought, all right, I'll pick up one of the cordless drills. I'll try it out. It's reasonably priced. If it doesn't work great, I'm not at any real big loss. So then I also picked up a 1/4-inch driver, and I thought I'd give that a try too. And one thing left to another, and next thing I know, I was out of control. So besides the drill, the driver, and the charger, I picked up an orbital sander, a 3/8 impact driver, a circular saw, a cool little blower, a USB charger, and a glue gun. And a partridge in a pear tree. Now, this is in no way a paid endorsement. In fact, I've purchased every one of these tools from Harbor Freight. So my review on this is my opinion and mine only. The good, the bad, the ugly, and all that other stuff that goes with it. So according to Harbor Freight's website, they have over 60 20-volt cordless tools from Bauer. You know, so that's a pretty good selection of all sorts of different products from them. Now, I have really enjoyed the drill. The drill has worked out really well, and it has plenty of good power. The sander is a great workhorse, but you're going to want to make sure you use one of the larger, like a 3 amp or 5 amp battery on it to get your power out of it. Same thing with stuff like the circular saw. And even the blower. The blower worked fine with the smaller battery, but if you're out there for a while, it'll use up that battery very quickly. This is the 3/8 ratchet, and this has 3 different speeds. It's got a LED light on the front of it, and like I say, you can turn it to 3 different speeds. Plus, it's a variable anyway. So I haven't really put this to the test yet, but I'm going to be playing with it a lot more. That did that with the small battery. So this drill is a workhorse. It's done really well for me. Really happy with how well it works, and it'll run fine on the 1.5 as well as the bigger batteries. The 1.5 is kind of nice sometimes just because it's a lot lighter and it's easier to get into places. So if you're doing something like just assembling something, this is going to do fine. But if you're driving like 2 or 3 inch screws into wood, you're probably going to want to use one of the bigger batteries for it. One of the surprises too was I purchased, hey Shop Cat, how it doing? Did you come in to say hi? Are you going to give your seal of approval? Yeah. One of the things I was really kind of surprised about was I picked up a inexpensive Bauer glue gun, and it works great. I mean, it heats up fast, and compared to trying to use one of those where you plug it in, you wait for 10 minutes for it to heat up, this thing really does the trick. Another one that I really liked is this little blower. Now this isn't a leaf blower. What this works great for is basically knocking the dust off your surfaces and scaring the shop cat. Sorry, shop cat. Personally, the 1.5 battery came in the kit form, and I think they run about $29. Now, you can get these 20% off because they'll do coupons all the time for, you know, as little as 20% off on all their products. But I wouldn't waste the money on this size battery. I'd at least go to the 3 amp or even the 5 amp, which are more money, but they're still extremely reasonable. I think the 4 amp runs somewhere around $49 before you can get coupons on it, and $59 on the 5 amp. So they're still a lot cheaper than buying a DeWalt replacement batteries or batteries for it. So that gives you the ability to store up extra batteries, and that's kind of nice as well. The variety of the tools that I get from this really have me kind of excited. I like the idea of being able to expand my tools and use the same battery throughout. That really is powerful. And then, like I say, I got to come back to price. You know, it's got to be reasonable for me to make it worth my while. Would I recommend the Bauer tools? I absolutely would to the DIYer or the home project enthusiast. Fantastic tools. I think they hold up well. They're doing really well. And I think I'm going to get a lot of life out of these. If I was a contractor using these 12 hours a day? Probably not. I would go to probably the best brand I could find, and you are going to pay a lot for that. But for how I use them, and I still use them a lot, they do really well. I plan on building a shop here in the near future, and I'll be using all these tools throughout it, and I'll let you know how that goes. I really have to say I'm pretty impressed with how well these tools performed, even using the smaller 1.5 amp battery, and it still pushed through some pretty stiff wood and drill bits, even that 1.5 inch Forstner bit, and did really well. So I'm impressed with that. So basically, you're looking at value in the price, quality build, and a great selection. So this one's got my thumbs up, and I think I'm going to continue buying with this. Hey, thanks a lot for watching. If you have any suggestions or comments, put them in the comment section below. And in the meantime, I'll see you soon.